What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Grr-Must-Errd Gaming. I'm Brother Mustard, and today I bring you a new build. So, this is Blinkman. Yeah, I hope you get the reference there on that name. If you don't, ask in comments, I'll explain it. It's a 90s comedy action movie thing. Anyways, Blinkman originally started as an update to my Speedy Shoes build. So, this build is conceived around the concept of moving from point A to point B as fast as possible. That is it. That is all we're thinking about. This is not a combat build. This is made to get you to the locations you need to be at in order to switch to another build and go into combat in order to unlock a specific gear piece, take down a specific boss iteration, take down a certain intermediate boss. It's about getting through the worlds and the areas of Remnant 2 as fast as you can. So this was going to be Speedy Shoes 2.0, but the build became so vastly different. I came up with Blinkman, and it also works out because if you don't know, one of my things with these builds is aesthetic, and I've been kind of like having a great time lining up my armor sets to look good and both work functionally with a certain weight limit, stamina penalty, and dodge roll speed. Now, this is the lightest of all, because this guy is not meant for any combat. This guy is just meant to go from where you start to where you want to be, okay? That's what this build is for. If you haven't seen any of my other build videos, I've got quite a few. Check my Remnant 2 playlist. And I build my builds basically for cruising around the world, having fun, taking on mobs, and challenging Apocalypse at its best. I don't do boss running builds. So if you want a reason behind that, I have played this game on every difficulty all the way through. I have played it through on multiple different builds and play styles, weapons, loadouts, setups, archetypes, all that. I've played this game through so many times. And once you beat the bosses, the intermediate bosses, and you start doing this so much, you understand their patterns. Yeah, it's great to have your Hugs build where you can one-shot these bosses so you can take them down really quick if you don't want to mess with them. But the reality of it is any Soul-style game, it's a mathematical pattern for bosses. So once you understand that pattern, once you understand those timings, you can essentially master it. You know, go watch all the videos of people with no armor, no nothing, level 1, running through games like Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Lords of the Fallen now. And you start understanding that, like, once you understand the math behind it, that's there. So I build my builds for cruising around the world, having fun, having a blast, getting around, doing things. And Blinkman now replaces Speedy Shoes as my get-around guy. Let's talk about the build. So, I'm going to start with the armor set, and we'll talk about what I've done. So this is the first armor set that has been a lightweight build. It is 0.7 under the threshold for moving into medium weight. It has the fastest dodge. It has no stamina cost penalty. That no stamina cost penalty is why we are here. I want to keep stamina up because you want to keep moving. And the funny thing is, though, is does that really matter when you're running the bisected ring? Infinite stamina, damage is increased. So it's one or the other, but this way, if you want no stamina cost penalty to like movement and dodging, you can still take that bisected ring off and have kind of the best use of your stamina. Now it's got the lowest armor rating at 90.6. You've still got resistances, though, to be fair, I'm not sure how bugged out these are. Recently, they've been pretty off the wall. I've seen some numbers that are just not reliable. And we've got the Bandit's Mask, the Realm Walker Tunic, the Elder Leggings, and the Survivor Gloves to give us this fantastic look. He just looks like someone that wants to get places. He's got his goggles on, and again, Blinkman, like, let's be real. If you get the reference, you know what's up. Okay, archetypes. So, Invader. Hello, Wormhole, Blinkman. So, you'll get it once we get going. This is actually your prime perk, and we use this as the prime perk because you want to cast those decoys. The decoys are what you're after. The prime perk on this guy is not really what we're wanting, so we're just using Planeswalker to get that increase in movement speed. Now, the big switch from Speedy Shoes is that with the new gear pieces that came with the DLC, the Awakened King, we're now looking at having massive reductions to our skill cooldown, and in that, what we're doing is using the skills from Invader and Explorer, Planeswalker, and Wormhole to really get around the map quick, and it's super functional for what we want it to do. You'll see in just a moment when we get into the game. Relic Heart is the Diverting Heart. again, we want to speed up these skill cooldowns. This isn't a build based off of cranking your movement speed up. It's about cranking your skill cooldown and using skills that increase that movement speed that will get you through somewhere fast. So we've got the mythic skill cooldown relic on, the mythic skill duration, and then mythic healing effectiveness, because this guy's gonna die. We're in Apocalypse. If you get in trouble, you're pretty toast. So we'll talk about that as we get going. Again, you've seen the bisected ring, infinite stamina. We don't want to worry about stamina at all. We'll take the extra damage. Burden of the Rebel reduces your skill cooldowns and reduces relic use speed. We're not too worried about that. You shouldn't have to be using too many relics. It's about getting around and going fast. Then we've gone Black Pawn Stamp to reduce your skill cooldowns again. And of course, you got your momentum driver so that when you are sprinting, you're gaining an increase. Now, let's talk about the weapons. If we get in trouble, we want to kind of be able to put down 1 or 2 enemies quick. So that's why we got the Bulldog on. This thing slaps. If you're close to someone, it's going to nuke them. And on top of that, we got the mod for Stasis Beam. And Stasis Beam can actually be used to freeze enemies and stop them from pursuing you so you can move along quickly. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's straightforward. And then you come over to here. I put the Silverback Model 500 on. You don't need a lot of bullets because you shouldn't be standing around fighting things. But we've put Scrap Shot on as your mod. And Scrap Shot is going to be able to slow groups of enemies. So you want to create a barrier between, like, if there's a pathway, you want to put it at the back of the pathway so anyone pursuing you will get slowed at that, and you can zoom out of there and keep moving towards your goal. This is not a combat-based build, guys. I've said it before. You hear it now. So we're using these things to kind of create openings to get out and move along. Okay, traits. So, Fortify, always crank that armor up. We want it. Now, healing, we're looking at regrowth. Movement speed, this is all going to be movement speed here. So we've got Explorer for swiftness. And this is great because this comes with our archetype. Untouchable. Evade window actually helps here because you essentially, if you do need to evade, you got a better chance of surviving through that. And that's kind of it. We've gone full vigor because that helps us survive a bit. You want to go and go and go. And we actually haven't touched anything stamina-wise because we've had that ring on. So stamina doesn't matter to us. Spirit, not worried about Spirit. We're not worried about our mod generation. Mods are secondary. We're thinking about moving, but we do have expertise for skill cooldown. Fitness, again, evade distance. This build is about getting away from the enemies and then keeping going to where you need to be. Bark Skin to reduce damage, so that is a little bit of your, again, your health-oriented stay alive. Footwork, if you are in a gunfight, you're moving quick and you can get to where you need to be, you can position yourself to get out of there. And then we've finished off with Siphoner, halfway for lifesteal if you do get an encounter, so you get something out of that. And Wayfarer is essential, so you're moving quick through any kind of environmental aspect. Ladders, water, jumping over things. Okay, let's head in. We're gonna go do an Imperial Gardens run and show you kind of like what it's like to have to maneuver around and away from like groups and groups of enemies. And from there, you can make your own conclusion, get in the comments, talk about what you want to change. I just want to send a huge shout out to my subscribers and the people that do follow me and get in on the conversation. This is inspired by one of my subscribers. You know who you are. Thanks so much. Everybody, hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, come along. We got tons more Remnant 2 content coming in the future. I am working on a super awesome melee build. Not anything to do with the Berserker. This is my second melee build, which will come next after this, and it's pretty much done. I just have to record the video. So make sure you hit that notification bell, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and you'll come along for all that. Let's head to the Imperial Gardens and do some running. Okay, everybody, we're picking up here in Imperial Gardens, and if you're unaware, you haven't seen any of my builds, you're new. Imperial Gardens is my favorite Apocalypse build testing grounds. It has the best dedicated elite spawns and the most annoying, basically, like, dedicated enemies. They're all the flyers. They come at you from everywhere. You got to be on your feet. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're savage. So this is a great place to test builds. Now, I have recently evolved, and I've found some new stomping grounds to test builds. So we're probably going to go to the second favorite after this. It's in Narude. We'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, we're just doing our thing here, and we want to get going. So let's move. And you can see these skill cooldowns. So this guy's in my way. Now, he's not, right? So, this build isn't really meant to be fighting all these guys. Freeze them, and you bust out. Now we see, when there are guys close, like I said, you just kind of like, you just move through enemies. Oh, here's our elite. Look at that damage I take off that. Incredible. So many of them, all shooting at you, all over the place. But the skill cooldowns are ridiculous. So you're just constantly using Blink to just get past these guys. I mean, like, you can fight them all you want, but this build isn't meant for fighting. This build is meant for not dealing with these guys. Like, it's all about just moving around. Hey, we still got that elite on us. These guys are all up in our shoes. I mean, let's take a relic here. Speed up those skill cooldowns, and look at how quick they're coming back now. And we're just not, like, we just don't care about this. This build is about this. It's just about, we're not really worried about this. That evade distance, that evade window is great. Planeswalker's back up already, so we're just right back to going fast. I think we should snap off a full lap here. Let's go all the way. That guy starts cranking shots at you. Health is already back to full. Like, it's working out here. And again, you're seeing the environmental movement, ladders, vaulting. We're obviously, we've got no water here, so. These guys can come after me all they want, but they're not going to get anywhere. Like, the move on this is just too good. And of course, you got all this. You just get out of there. Get back to home base. And then the funny thing is, like, you got all these guys chasing after you, and, like, they don't even know that you've got that Dan Aykroyd Crystal Skull vodka, and you're like, cheers! Okay, everybody, after that really quick jaunt through the Imperial Gardens, my favorite stomping ground, we find ourselves in the Putrid Domain on New Rood, and now this has become my second favorite testing ground, and this is where I test my melee builds, because a lot less flyers. Flyers are incredibly hard to test melee against, and this area is, it's no joke. It's no joke at all. It'll mess your day up. Alright, let's start with one of these. And let's just get going. Crank that Planeswalker, and we're just out of here. And you see how quick Wormhole is coming back? Like, it's like you don't care about anything else. You just oh look, I got two of these. Like, oh, I want to be over here, I'm over here. Oh, I want to be over here, I'm over here. Like, this is the get around guy. Blinkman has done it. He has nailed it. Which way do I want to be going here? I always get lost in here. It's kind of even like the funner part of this is like you just end up kind of stuck in a corner, and you get mobbed by all these freaking annoying enemies. But it's like it's very good to test your melee because they're all crowded on you, and you can really get your hits in and smoke these guys. All right, where do I want to go here? What's the plan? Let's try this one. I think we're headed back to the beginning, but, like, the reality of it is, like, I'm only here to just kind of... Oh, no, I think this is towards ending, isn't it? Yeah, we know this. We know where we're at. Let's get that skills back up so we keep it going. These guys are getting annoying, so we just leave the room. Oh, yeah. Hey, buds. How you doing? Yeah, get that growl on. Hey, yeah, like Blinkman is just untouchable. That's his shtick. That's what he wants. That's what he wants in life. He just doesn't want to like deal with these things. He just wants to come here, run to the boss room, fight the boss, cruise around the crystal for a bit, and do that. And then this is a good example of this. So, see it slowing them down? And then again. So stasis beam, you freeze a couple guys, you apply slow to them, and then you just take off. So, you know, like, and you see how little health this guy has? Like, he is dead. And that's how it works. You just gotta keep moving. He's not a fighter. He's get from point A to point B, and I think that's a perfect example of that. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I don't feel a need to go anywhere else. It's such a straightforward thing. This guy is just about moving around the map, getting away from guys, and, like, you know, you can have mobs pursuing you, and they're still not really a problem. You've got the tools at your disposal to get away from them. So I want to touch on one last thing. If you haven't seen, I have been running a Hex Bros set of videos. I've done the build, and I've played through the entire story, beating all the mid-bosses and the bosses on Nightmare, and we are actually just completing it on Apocalypse. We are on Annihilation, and then we're going to go back and get the bosses we missed through Adventure Mode. So, you can see I've got a Xenoplasm running. This is actually kind of key for this build. It reduces skill cooldowns by 10%, so this is our final little touch about your skill cooldowns. So you do want to take this. You do want to get a bunch. They're super easy. Buy them off Mudtooth. Use your Xenoplasm and get that extra skill cooldown, because that is a key factor. I can't say thanks enough to my community, to all you that come through, even the haters that get in on the comments and talk about why it's terrible and what to change. It can all be educational. It can all drive the algorithm. It can all be looked at as beneficial. But the supporters, thank you so much. You guys are great. I'm having such a good time making YouTube content, doing videos, especially covering Remnant 2. This was my game of the year. I freaking love this game. I have so much fun playing this, even to this day. 300 hours in almost. And so many runs through the game, platinum, all that. So, you know, big ups. You guys are dope. You guys are awesome. And do us a solid. If you're not subscribed, join that community. Hit the like button. Join the Discord. You'll find the Discord link in my channel links, my channel description. Yeah, we're going places, especially with Blinkman. Thank you so much. Adios.